All right, everyone. I'm here with my tiebreaker, Jay Kinder. Hey, Jay.
Hey, hey.
And he's with eXp. And one of the reasons I wanted to bring him on this tiebreaker was because he has, how many agents have you coached and trained, Jay?
Oh, yeah.
Too many.
Thousands, yeah, in the thousands for sure. So I definitely have a little bit of experience of seeing, what works, what
Yeah,
doesn't work, that sort of thing. But yeah, this is a great question. So I actually pondered about this for quite some time. So I'm happy to be the tiebreaker.
perfect. Let's see who you agree with.
All right.
So, who is better at sales, introverts or extroverts?
I got to tell you, the reason why this is a hard question for me to answer is because as as an extrovert,
Right.
business partner who my entire life I believed that Michael Reese was an extrovert. I learned through I can't remember which particular thing we went through, but we went through like this in-depth training for our office and everything.
He seems
And,
like an introvert when I met him.
oh, he wasn't, or he was?
No, he seems like an introvert when
Oh,
I
he is.
met him.
He's naturally an introvert. Now, that being said, this is what makes it hard for me because I know as an extrovert, one of the things that was the reason why I was successful was because of my enthusiasm.
Yeah.
And I can be enthusiastic about anything. I'm like ignorance on fire. So like, and I learned this because I used to call and do autopsies. Like every time I would win or lose on a listing appointment, I would call and ask them why.
Yeah.
And the times that I went early on in my career when I was young, they would say, "We just really liked your enthusiasm." I was like, "Okay, that works." Like I can get excited about anything. So I know that being an extrovert is there's some positive things that happen from people that bring a high level of energy and that are extroverted and are afraid to get in the mix.
Yeah.
But then I also know the greatest salesperson I know on this planet is my business partner, Michael Reese, who is an introvert. And
Hmm.
so that's why I had to really ponder about like, okay, well, what side of the fence am I on? Now, I believe he's an anomaly, an anomaly
Right.
in a bunch more ways than just that. But so I have to go on the side of extrovert. I think that the
Yes.
extrovert is at least if you were just to take the averages across the board, you take an extrovert and the qualities that they tend to bring to the table in sales is going to outsell an introvert unless it's Michael Reese most of the time.
I agree. I think like they always say enthusiasm, even if you say the wrong thing, you can still get sales. But
Yeah,
once you're enthusiastic and you know the right thing to say,
right.
every time you're getting that
Yeah,
deal.
it definitely gives you an unfair advantage. And what I would say is that it doesn't mean that as an introvert that you can't adapt to the situation and be more extroverted. It's just something that you have to work on. I think if you want to get better and better and better at sales. So don't allow yourself to be labeled, as one thing or another. It doesn't define who you are. It just gives you an idea of what maybe you might have to overcome in order to get better at sales. So
Yeah,
that
and it does depend on your goals and stuff too, because my partner is an introvert also, and he's a beast. I mean, he's an anomaly also.
right, right.
He is very good at sales, and you never see him coming, and then all of a sudden, it's
Next
like, dang.
thing you're signing up, buying something.
Right.
Yeah,
Definitely extroverts are just we're louder about it.
right, right. Which doesn't that works against me all my approach
Yeah.
sometimes. That's the feedback that I've always got is what it's just your approach, man. You're just coming on a little too hot.
Right. So I think it's especially if like if you're doing a sphere-based business, you have to know those people like you. So it's not like, don't try to change who you are. Like you're good, you know?
Right.
But I agree with you. We are natural salespeople, extroverts.
Yeah. I'll tell you the thing that some of the training that I had to go through over the years, and I don't know. I mean, I guess I look back and I try to like figure out like why in the world did I become successful? Like how did that even happen?
Mhm.
Because I'm not the most likely success story at
Mhm.
all, and so I kind of always go back and look like why am I successful? What happened? And when I look at like I was lucky that I went through some courses and training that
Mhm.
early gave me some confidence, right? Because
Yeah.
I was a confident person, but I was outgoing. I was voted honoriest in my entire class.
Oh, shocker.
Shocker, right? Yeah. So that makes sense, right? So I was must have been a little bit extroverted, naturally, but like in a sales environment, like scared stiff, right? Like the
Right.
very first I did a radio commercial, I had one of these in front of me and I couldn't do it. I said, listen, I got to go back to my office. I got to call from my phone because that thing, I can't talk to that thing in front
That's
of me.
hilarious.
So so you don't you don't know what you don't know, I guess. But as I became more skilled in sales, I became even more enthusiastic, even more extroverted,
Mhm.
and it certainly helped me. Once I learned Michael Reese was an introvert, I was like, I couldn't believe it. Like when I can't even remember the test. It was Myers Briggs is what it
Oh
was. And
yeah, that's a good one.
we had them come in and do this test, and they had us all separated, right? And we had our whole office of people, and Mike was over with the introverts that I knew were introverts, but I didn't know Mike was an introvert. But he was like, I was like, did you get the answers to the questions on the test? Like, did you fill it out correctly? Like, are you sure? And what I learned was Mike's a thinker, right? So
Yeah.
he has to think through things first, and so like
You
you can't
don't
just,
think,
yeah,
probably.
at all. I have no reason to think. I'm just gonna be like, okay, if you got a gun to my head, I would do this, and that's my initial knee-jerk reaction. Then I'll not think about it, but
Right.
but first answer. And so the whole time me and Mike were business partners, I used to get frustrated. We'd be in meetings and topic number one we'd be done with, and we'd be 6 items down on the agenda, and Mike just pops up from his computer and like starts talking about something, and we're like, what is he even talking about? He was talking about item number one because he didn't do the research and think through it and do this. I was like, dude, I'm so sorry. I'm a terrible business partner. Like, I should have known all these years. I should have figured that out. Like, but if you give it to him ahead of time,
He's
he'll think,
good.
he'll stay up all night thinking about it, and then he'll come with a really educated and
And he's
very.
probably right.
And he's probably right. You're
Yeah,
exactly.
that's what I experience with my partner too. It's like his answers that are well thought out are better than my like knee-jerk
Yeah.
reaction
Yeah.
answers.
Well, yeah. What Mike says probably better. Yeah, but I did. You give him enough time to think about it, he's gonna get clear. Yeah. So everybody can win. That's what I know.
Yeah, I like it. Now,
Every-
since you've coached and trained a lot of agents and
yeah.
our audience is agents, do you have anything for us?
Well, shoot. Yeah, I got a lot of stuff for you. What Let me tell you. Let me tell you how I became successful in real estate.
Okay.
Arguably.
Okay.
Let me preface that. So my best year, I sold 531 homes, number 2 in the world for Coldwell Banker in a marketplace. Get this, you'll laugh at this. I was number 2 in my own marketplace. I was number 2 in the world for Coldwell Banker.
And in your own marketplace?
I was number 2 in my own marketplace. There was a Remax team in my market that sold. I was selling 500. They were selling 700 homes a year. So like the worst case scenario for like I could have leveraged the sales and how much I was doing. No, I couldn't. Every time I went on an appointment, I competed with a team that was doing more than me. And on top of that, they would drop their commission to 4% every time they could. So, like, you talk about hard. It was hard. I had to learn a lot to be able to overcome all of that.
Yeah.
But it was a great lesson for me, and it made me better. It made me learn the skills I needed to be successful.
And the processes and to follow the process instead of keep going off track, reinvent the wheel. Yep.
Yes. Yeah. You had to have a process that you took people. And that would, so I wouldn't be where I'm at today had I not had the competition I had. That being said, my goal, if you would have asked me, hey, well, Jay, what's your goal? My goal when I was younger, like early on, I was like, well, I think I want to sell 30 homes a year. And then next year, I think I want to sell 60 homes a year. And then they come out with this new award at Coldwell Banker. It's called the Premier. And I was like, well, that's 110. Well, I guess I want to sell 110 units this year. And I kept having these goals that were production oriented. And in the back of my mind, my belief was that I was going to become more free, time freedom, by having this much production. I was obviously going to build a team and around me, and I was fast forward 7 years later, you're selling 500 plus homes a year, and I'm less free than I've ever been.
You're a slow learner, Jay.
Less weekends to the lake than I'm used to, less evenings off. Why am I not free? And it's because I didn't have I wasn't looking for the best vehicle to get me financially free.
Right.
I was just I was setting goals to sell more homes. That is not the goal. The goal is not to sell 500 homes a year. Let me just be clear on that. It's not. The goal is to be time freedom. Is how much time freedom can you get? How do you get enough passive income in your life to be able to say, I don't have to go sell a house, but if I want to, I will.
Right.
And you don't, I'm dumb young kid from Oklahoma that doesn't know any better. So I'm just setting these goals and I'm thinking I'm winning. And then you climb that ladder and you realize the ladder's up against the wrong wall.
Yep.
So really, my advice to you is, get around people that can help you get clear on what the real goals are, about getting freedom, time freedom, and look at the business model with that person at eXp, because the only business model on the planet that allows you to build a passive income that will allow you to at least someday choose whether you want to sell another home or not.
Right.
eXp. And that's the facts. Like, it doesn't, I don't care. You can say anything you want to say. There's going to be more millionaires made from eXp than any other company in the history of real estate, hands down. It's just irrefutable. It's a business model that's never existed before. If you think you know what it is, what I can tell you is stop. Don't talk. Don't say anything. You think you know what it is, but you don't.
Right. Listen
twice as hard and assume that whatever you're thinking is wrong. Because I did the same thing. I made the same mistake. I thought I knew what it was, wrote it off. Somebody else came, get off me. Then it's like, why are all these people coming at me about eXp? Why? Because they know that it's better than what you're currently doing. That's the only reason anybody. And some people that actually care about you are trying to show you something that's better than you could ever imagine, and you haven't sat down long enough to understand the business model.
Right.
So that's the key. And if you want the shortcut to success, you want the shortcut to freedom, then pay attention to the people that are asking you about eXp, because the business model is absolutely, hands down, the greatest wealth creating business model in real estate that we've ever seen.
Well, it's hard because it's like, you're so, like, for me, it took about a year to come over, because it was like, well, I need to, like, exactly what you're saying. Like, I'm busy selling houses. I don't have time to listen to this. Like, you don't have an office and I need an office. That was like my biggest hang up.
Right.
I mean, now we have offices.
Let me ask you this. So that it's real easy to come up with reasons why something isn't for you, or why it won't work for you and all that, right? Like, that's our natural tendency to listen long enough to say why it doesn't fit for me. Oh, that's not right. And then we shuffle it off as we
move on.
Right. Which I get. I've done it my whole life. But I adopted this mindset. Michael and I both did. And it was, you always say yes to opportunity, always, until you have to say no. And so when you just assume you're wrong and be like, hey, maybe this is better. And of course, you want to make sure it's in alignment with your vision, your goals.
Of course, yeah.
Or what you stand for. But as long as it fits like the core value test, right? Like, this ain't some out in left field, like, hey man, you want to build skyscrapers in Dubai? You know what I'm saying? Like, well, no, not really.
That'd be cool.
But like, if it's in alignment, listen, you listen. And so just be open-minded. And the biggest lesson I've ever learned was from Elon Musk. And that's, assume you're wrong. Assume you're wrong in your thinking. Assume that everything you think is right is wrong, and that there might be a better way than what you've ever.
That's actually true. I mean, even if you take that and move it to people, like when you first look at people, there's like a split second, judgment on how they are and who they are. But I can tell you 10 out of 10 times I'm wrong.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you just can't tell.
No. Yeah, you're either in judger mode or learner mode, right? So there's a book called Change Your Questions, Change Your Life. This is a great book for anybody.
Yeah.
And there's the switch that happens, and you're either going to go down the path of judger mode and judge, or you're going to go down the path of learner mode and learn. And the people that can realize where that switch is and go down the path of learner mode are the people that find success. Because you're not trying to judge. There's no reason to judge. There's no benefit in that.
Well, there's no right or wrong anyway.
Right. Just listen. You're looking for truth. All you're looking for is truth. And let me tell you, I know what the truth is. I've seen it all.
You're living it, man.
I'm living right now in Puerto Rico is where my family lives as of a month ago. I've been here a month. Never would I've ever been here. And I'm living in the Caribbean, which I love. And it's a beautiful, beautiful place. I'm living in a rich community. I've never lived the lifestyle that I'm living before. I've lived well. I really have. I've been blessed for my whole life, but I've never had what I have today if it wasn't for EXP. And anyone has the same opportunity. Everyone has the same
Yeah,
opportunity. You be open minded to look at it. So I'm
that's
telling you,
awesome.
listen twice as hard. You're missing.
Exactly.
You're not here. You're missing something. That's all it is. Like
Yeah.
you didn't get something. Yeah.
I get it. Well, you said you had said too back at the beginning that you have like a questionnaire people can fill out if they're questioning like how if they do, want to grow their business, like how to do that. Where can they find that?
I think that's another thing that people don't realize. Like we help agents sell more real estate. That's my
Which is kind of funny.
right. That's what we do. It's a great business. It's one of the most amazing businesses ever. And I think most people are just stuck. In fact, I had a call today with a lady that, bless her heart, she's a great agent. Been licensed for 20 plus years, sells 8 to 10 or 15 homes a year, and
Mhm.
she's just for what that next step is. And what we learned over the years is if you're doing between 20 and 35, 40 deals a year and you're stuck and you can't seem to get over the hump,
Mhm.
it's sales and marketing. The cool thing about this industry is you can spend a few bucks, maybe a couple $100 a month, and you can close a deal or two from that investment if you understand sales and marketing. If you don't understand sales and marketing, you got referrals, sphere of influence, and maybe some other sources you got some luck with every once in a while, and you're spending some money, but it's not predictable. It's like, okay, good month, bad month, good month, bad month,
Mhm.
whatever. It's like roller coaster real estate, and so that's the challenge I think most people run into, and you need sales and marketing, and so and you need clarity about what it is you're trying to accomplish. And so we created this document that if you take the time to get clear on what your vision is, what it is, where you want to be 5 years from now,
Mhm.
reverse engineer your plan to get there, and we take you through this process. It's at freeclarityreport.com, I think it is.
Okay, we'll get the link in
Yeah.
the notes.
Download that report, take a half day, and go get serious about where you want to be in 5 years, right? Like 5 years is going to pass whether you like it or not. I can assure you, it's passed since I've been in real
It's
estate. It's passed
fast.
almost 5 times now. Like passed. So don't just keep out there doing it. Like take a step back and think about what am I trying to do? What's the goal? What's the vision?
Yeah.
I told us since 22. I missed some of his games. I missed some things with him in life. I'll never get back.
Mhm.
So like take the time to get clear on what you want it to look like and what is important to you, and then build a business that serves you, not you serving it. That's the best advice I can give you.
Yeah, I mean, you're exactly right. Everything you said was exactly how I was feeling too. It's like we're doing more deals. We're doing, 30, then 60, then 80, then 120. And like kind of like around 120 after a few years of that, we were like, oh, I don't want to do more, you know? I want to do something else. And I mean, you're smarter than me. I just freaked out and left the country for a year.
Maybe you were smarter than me because I just kept the same grind. Wow. What country did you go to?
Oh, we went to 17 countries, but I was still selling real estate. So that was good. We decided we needed like, I'm going to leave. We're not going to sell like as much. I need like a break,
That's
And then it was actually in Morocco when we finally agreed to come to eXp
wow.
because I just
Wow.
needed to get away.
Totally took a step back, like a big step back.
Yeah. I was like, I got to get away,
Right.
But yeah, once people hit their head on the wall and they can see like more deals is not the answer,
It,
that's when
it's
they come.
yeah. It's crazy because it's real hard to convince somebody that. I mean, it
You
really
have to
is.
feel it.
You're a hard charger, and there's no the problem. And it's hard to define the problem, but for me, the problem was there was no financial model, and I not that I would have understood it if somebody showed it to me at the time, but until I hit the wall so hard that I knew I had to learn the accounting, and like I had to be the CEO and the CFO of my business in terms
Right.
of perspective,
Yeah.
and then step out of production. Like it wasn't until then, and I had to hire somebody way smarter than me. He wrote a book called Simple Numbers, Straight Talk, Big Profits. His name's Greg
Oh,
Krabs.
yeah. I read that. That's a great book.
phenomenal book, and we built our business based on that financial model, and that's how I was able to step out of production. I went from -3% pre-tax profit to 22% profit in 3 years after being completely removed and moving to another marketplace.
That's
So
awesome.
it was actually a business for once, and my average sale price was like 135,000. So there was no room for mistakes in the business. A lot of people that you go to these events and they'll say, "Oh, you heard my P&Ls. Here's how much I'm making." Well, what are you paying yourself? What are you paying? Like, there's a lot of stuff there that doesn't get, the light doesn't get shown. Like, you didn't look under the hood of someone's business just if they're just telling you the numbers. I need to see your P&Ls. What is this? What is this? What is this? And you can really see, like, most of these businesses, as you get to that high level, are not that profitable.
Well, and that's how, most of these teams are. I mean, they're not profitable,
I know exactly what you mean.
That's
There's a better way.
awesome. Well, I really appreciate
Better
you.
way.
What's that?
Yeah. I said, there's a better way, folks. There's a better way.
There is a better way. So if people want to get a hold of you, they can find you on Facebook for sure.
Yep, pretty easy to find. Yep, Facebook, Instagram. Just put my name in. I'm sure my shenanigans will show up there somewhere.
Nice. All right. And if they want that report, what is it again?
ClarityReport.com. It's every coaching client I've ever had. That's where we start, and that is the beginning of the process.
Great.
So I think for anybody who's wanting to change, wanting a better way, that's where I would go.
And if they want to get in touch with you, what's your preferred way?
My preferred way? That's a good question, man. I get hit from every angle these days. I'm like, not WhatsApp, right? Like, so here I am in Puerto Rico, and there's like, everybody uses WhatsApp. I'm like, you mean I have another dadgum way for people to get hold of me? It's like my whole screen, all these different ways people reach me. So no, I think probably the best for me, I stay on top of my email. So that's my preferred way would be jay@jaykender.com. Just email me. I'm pretty much on top of that on the daily, and then whatever you have, whatever I can do to help, I'm happy to do it.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you being on. Thank you so much.
Yep. Appreciate you. And if you guys are thinking about eXp and you're watching this, you've been tuning in, reach out to Jennifer. Let her help you get clear. I promise you this: she will change your life if you make the decision to join eXp.
Just like Monica did mine.
There you go.
All right. Thank you.
All right.